Hey guys, it's Steph. Welcome back to the Cantina. This is live because I'm having a little bit of trouble with my phone again and my setup. So, talk a little bit about politics. So, last night we had the vice presidential debate in which Kamala Harris, who I couldn't believe anybody could be more unlikable than Hillary Clinton, but she did it. Kamala, well done. That is really some special ass sauce you brought. Anyway, yeah, she got her butt kicked. I mean, there's no, hey, Scory, there's no, I mean, there's no doubt. And I want to talk a little bit about kind of this evolution here. I am not a registered Republican. I was. But certain things occurred that made me question the party leadership and where it was going. The reason simply is this. I worked on Capitol Hill for a while. And, you know, you're right, sold. I worked on Capitol Hill for a while, and I worked for the House Majority Leader. In fact, here's a picture. That's me, yes, with black, dark brown hair. And Congressman Dick Armey, House Majority Leader. That picture was taken the day they signed the Homeland Security bill, and then it went to President Bush to sign it, and now we have the Homeland Security Department, which that's a long story in itself, and maybe someday I'll tell you about that a little bit. I got to see history made. But I was a pretty solid Republican. I volunteered for the Bush campaign, first one in Washington. Had to go back to go to Florida when the recount fiasco occurred. Remember hanging chads? Thank you, George. Thank you, Al Gore. All that. So we get to 2008, and I really didn't have anybody that was really exciting to me. I mean, it was a pretty bad field that year. The only guy I think probably could have actually made a run for it was former Senator Fred Thompson, and he was sick. He tried to run, and it wasn't going to happen. The man had cancer, so anyway, we got John McCain. John McCain did everything he could to lose the race. Even George W. Bush did that. Now, let's talk a little bit about W before I go into everything else. W, the first 2 years of his presidency, did a really good job. And despite my disappointment with him, at least he wasn't Al Gore on 9/11. Could you imagine that? Think about that. And I was in D.C. at the time. Hey, Dave, because I was out there. So, after when he won in 2004, he just kind of gave up and went into his shell. He didn't fight. It was almost like he was afraid to. Almost masochistically saying, hurt me more, call me a racist. I mean, I'm going to tell you guys this. Donald Trump is not special when they call him, when the left goes out and calls him Hitler. All right? Because they were really bad to W. In fact, the lead up to Iraq, I was going to work. This was after Army retired. And I was working for the Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission. I was the assistant to the chairman. And that's a story in of itself, too. But we had Code Pink and all the peace protesters protesting the thing that was going to happen in Iraq. They were stopping traffic, and there's all this shit was going down, and they made our lives, the commute, a living hell. So not only did we have to worry about, Ahmed al-Kaboom blowing up an overhead and taking out a highway or whatever, or, going after the subways in D.C. or whatever. We, our cars are being, stopped by soy poisoned chimpanzees running around screaming, Bush is Hitler. War for oil and all the rest of that shit they always do. We'll come back to that. So anyway, but W ended up being pretty much a disappointment. His response to Hurricane Katrina was the fact that he didn't go out and try to make a reason for people to vote for the Republican majority in the House in 2006. So, he was mediocre at best. All right, and I'm being nice there. So I go into 2008. Barack Obama, the heir apparent, gets in there, and John McCain. The Republicans would always go to this coronation thing, and the Democrats are doing the same thing with Biden. It's his turn. So McCain, and he doesn't try. I mean, it was just. I volunteered for that campaign, and I never saw anything so spectacularly incompetent as that campaign was. I mean, it was just legendarily awful. So we get Obama. 2012. Mitt Romney, who actually did have a chance, I believe, in beating Obama. It's right after Benghazi. I remember bawling my eyes out when that happened. Romney has his foot on Obama's throat over Benghazi and doesn't do it. If he had done what he was supposed to do and gone out to win that debate, he would have been president. Okay? Bottom line, he would have been president. He'd be president now. Okay, now think about that. All right, you know, anti-Trump, never-Trumper establishment, faux conservative phonies. So, and then Trump gets in there, and I supported Rick Perry because I liked him as governor of Texas. I thought he did a great job. He's a great guy. He's a dude. He's a manly man. He's a good guy. Then he drops out, and then so I decided, okay, first Cuban American president, Marco Rubio, awesome. And Trump just kept devouring them. I wasn't happy with that. I didn't want to be a Trump fan. Okay, I did not want this at all. But something happened. Hillary Clinton. And this is just, I think, about, mid-September of 2016. Goes out there and she's talking to all of her entitled Perry. It would have been Perry. Rick Perry, governor of Texas. He was then. And she goes out there and says she would throw all of Trump's supporters, whom she called racist, bigots, and sexists and homophobes, into her basket of irredeemable deplorables. That set my husband off, and that set me off. So I clicked for Donald Trump. And when he won, I thought, for the first time in my life, there's a presidential candidate on the GOP side since Ronald Reagan who did not tolerate being badly treated by anybody and would go after them. You may not like his queens. Fuck Kamala, how's that one, okay? His Queens attitude, Queens New York attitude, you may not like his past, but if you're a Christian of any kind, God doesn't use perfect people because there are none. He uses people who are perfect for the job. King David was a murderer and an adulterer. St. Paul not only judged and chased and persecuted Christians, he stoned them, including the church's first deacon, my namesake. St. Stephen. So, and what did Saul do? He basically brought Christianity to the entire world. Okay, he's one of my saints. I even wear his medal. St. Paul's medal, see? So, when you're bitching and moaning and saying, Trump is just so mean, please shut up. If you can't deal with it, sit over there, be quiet, and let the big people, let the grown-ups fix the issues. Because obviously, for too long, since Ronald Reagan, Republicans and the establishment weren't willing to throw down. Because ultimately, they were that establishment. When people would tell me there's no difference between the parties, guess what? They were right. And do you want to know what really brought that home? I met our Congressman Scott Perry. We met him at a gun show. And then we went to a gun seminar talk here at one of the local fire stations, and he was there. So he and I started talking, and I said something about, Scott knows I used to work for Army and all the rest of that stuff. And I brought up Paul Ryan because I was already mad at him. Little did I realize how my anger would just bloom and grow and whirl into a thing. Paul Ryan, Kenosha, Wisconsin, pretty boy, Mr. P90X, did everything as Speaker of the House and de facto leader of the Republican Party. Well, actually, Donald Trump was, but did everything he could to destroy Scott Perry, who is a great congressman. Okay, I was stunned. I was stunned by this, and I was so pissed off. And till the day I die, until the party opens itself up and realizes for too long, too many corrupt people, too many people who got there and bought the Kool-Aid and drank it, the swamp water, are running the party. I mean, Donald Trump's just showing what's going on. Mike Pence is like, see, ta-da, there it is. Ronald Reagan always said there has to be bold colors on our side. Hey, Bertie, not pale pastels. What we got with McCain and Romney and even George W. and George W.'s daddy were pale pastels. Now we've got a guy who is, again, I don't like the way he tweets. I don't give a shit if you don't like the way he tweets. I mean, I don't care, okay? I don't think you should care either. How does your 401k look? All right? Because even with all this shit going down, ours is doing pretty well, okay? This guy has taken so many slights and all the crap they've thrown at him. And he just keeps going along, okay? And remember, he's not the first Republican these scumbags have called Nazi, called Romney a Nazi. But he was fine with that. Oh yeah, you're right, Bertie. You're right. So, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on now. So, we've got the debates last night. Kamala Harris getting her ass spanked by, thank you, Mike Pence. Now they want to do a virtual debate between Trump and Biden. Trump said no because the debate moderator wrote a bio about Nancy Pelosi. B, you all know perfectly well that Biden will not only have everything written down, all of his answers, he'll be being fed things by his handlers. That's not fair or right. President has every right to say, I agree to debates in person. All right, I'm not doing this. We're having a rally. Hey, awesome. Okay, so we got that. So that happened. And Pence just took her to the cleaners. The polls, I gotta tell you, and this is anecdotal, but when you're driving around here, and there are some Biden signs, but, deep in the heart of Carlisle, near Dickinson College, it's where the slimy professors live. Of course they're gonna have Biden signs up there. But this is Trump country here. This is, and I gotta tell you something. People here are fired up to go to debate or to go to vote in person on November 3rd. And I gotta also tell you this. If you're a Democrat, I want you to sit down. I want you to listen to this. Bite-sized Biden. You guys are funny. I'll talk a little bit about the naked celebrities in a second. This isn't your Democrat Party anymore. And it hasn't been for years. It hasn't been since Clinton was president. He fooled all you people. Okay? He didn't give a shit about you. So here's the deal. The Democrat Party doesn't care about you. They're not about the little people. Bishop Fulton Sheen talked about elitism in one of his lectures. And elitism, Dave, elitism has been with us in its form we know it now since the 60s when he talked about it. They are better than you. Doesn't matter where they came from. I mean, Hillary Clinton's family is nondescript. Her parents, her husband is trailer trash from Arkansas who didn't know his own fucking father. Not that I'm judging him on that, but when people like that look down on their betters, they're not your party anymore. Kamala Harris, do you think she gives a shit about, the coal miners? Hey, Maze, do you think she gives a shit about the coal miners in West Virginia, here in Pennsylvania, in Kentucky? No. There are people who are drug addicts, who are crapping on the streets in San Francisco, who are homeless, have nothing, who are better people than she could ever think of being. And yet, there are Democrats in this area who really honestly still believe that they somehow are cared for by these people. Of course it was Maze. I mean, she's a fucking liar. Like I said before, it's hard for me to believe that somebody could actually, another woman could actually be more unlikable than Kamala Harris or than Hillary Clinton. But Kamala did it, man. And that's some damn talent there, man. I tell you what. But, and of course, all Hollywood is freaking out. And we got a rumor going on or a story out there that Pelosi now wants to invoke the 25th Amendment. Now, I'm going to tell you something about the polls. Last year, or 2016, the polls are saying the same goddamn thing. Okay. I've got at least two different people who do prognosticate, who've got Trump actually winning more electoral votes and the popular vote. I can't imagine Joe Biden being ahead in Florida when overwhelmingly Cubans in South Florida are voting for Trump. I can't. So if you're worried about the polls or think they're telling you the truth, you're a moron. And your attention span and knowledge of history is that big. Okay? And I want to talk to you. And if you're a, Chicken Little conservative, oh my God, shut up. Just shut the fuck up. You're looking for something to be scared of. All right? I can't deal with people like that. And of course, Hollywood's freaking out. So we got these celebrities, one of which is Sarah Silverman. Oh, cool. That's cool, Pocket. Got naked to get out the vote. That's not desperate. First off, none of them should be seen naked anyway. They're not it's not like a bunch of supermodels got together and did it. Okay. I mean, Sarah Silverman, my dog's buttholes is shaved is, more attractive. Okay. It's just, they're desperate. And it's really funny. I'm going to tell you something about it. There are people in Hollywood, and this is a conspiracy. Okay. Kind of. I saw a list, and it's a rumor more than a conspiracy. And Tom Hanks wasn't on it, neither was Steven Spielberg, so shut the fuck up, okay? Those two, until I have absolute evidence, you leave them alone. Oh, of course it was. Anyway, it was a list on 4chan that a friend of mine named Lee Scott, the film director, film mogul, posted now, and he never got back to me on where he saw that or if he could get the list back. But it was a list of Hollywood pedophiles. The names that I remember were, and Maisel loved this one, Ryan Johnson, Rob Reiner, James Gunn, and there were a few others. So it kind of makes you wonder, some of these people are very loudly anti-Trump. Now, They've been that way. I mean, I remember Barbara Streisand freaking out about President Reagan. I'm not watching it, Pocket. That's gross. But I'm gonna tell you something. When someone is that upset to the point where they can't, oh, she's trash anyway. I don't give a shit if she's good. I mean, that's like saying Jane Fonda's good in something. I have a friend who worked for Disney and does script editing, named Sarah Ann, Saran, as we call her. And she's like, I loved Clued. I can deal with Fonda in that, but I can't in any way. And I'm like going, I can't stand anything the woman's been in. Oh yeah, she is. She's. I mean, Maze, you're right on that. But yeah, the more they screen, the more you kind of wonder what exactly their issues really are. Why are they? What's the point? Now, James Gunn, I haven't seen get into. Oh my God, Trump. Rob Reiner sure is. But Reiner's always been a politically motivated jackass. But it kind of makes you wonder what's really driving this, because they were left alone when Bush was president, and they all called him Hitler, racist, bigot, sexist, homophobe. You know, Rick Grenell, who was the first homosexual ambassador that we named anywhere, or that out, I should say, named to Germany, loves to call them out on that because Donald Trump is very, 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 he's very good on individuals' lives. You don't judge people like that. And I think a president needs to be that way. But these people don't see it at all. I mean, Grenell's like, he's the only president we've had that actually kind of defends us. You know, you've got Iranians throwing gay people, or hanging gay people, ISIS throwing gay people off buildings, and the Democrat candidates don't say anything. Oh, I know, that's so great, isn't it, Pocket? Yeah, that's the thing these people don't seem to see. And I do happen to know at least 2 or 3 people that every time a pollster calls them, they lie about who they're voting for. I don't know why. I didn't. The first time in my life, I got polled twice. I've learned not to answer the phone unless it's somebody I know or a number I know, unless I'm actually expecting a call. But it's all just very, there's a way. Here's the deal. The difference between being a liberal and being a conservative, or a liberal and a leftist, is leftists try to tell everybody how to live and have their noses in I don't know, Sakori. I'll answer that in a second. Liberals don't care how you live. They're worried about the Constitution, the economy, stuff like that. Oh, thank you, Jerkins. And that's the bottom line, okay? We don't care. Leave me alone, okay? If you're a Christian, a Catholic or another, flavor, great. Let's all celebrate Christmas together and stuff, But don't tell me what I can and can't do at church, okay? Don't. That's the thing. I mean, back in the old days, no one cared. John Wayne has said once that, he was told he was a conservative, and he always thought he was a liberal. When he was making that movie with Rock Hudson, they didn't want Rock Hudson. The producers didn't want him. John Wayne went to bat for him. Here's the deal. What somebody does, oh, great. All right, welcome home, man. What somebody does in their own lives, it's none of your business. Now, granted, I am a devout Catholic, and you know, if you ask me what I think about some things, I'm going to be brutally honest. I am a huge proponent of everybody here stopping what they're doing and watching something called False Compassion by Archbishop Fulton Sheen. Watch it because you'll learn something. Anyway, we don't really care. So why do leftists want to rule over us? It's about power. If you look at what the movie stars are doing, I don't know what they're afraid of, but they have big boogeymen they think are real and they're not. I'm actually Facebook friends with Mark Hamill's brother, and it's like, who lives in Texas? It's like, can you please tell Mark to shut the fuck up? You know, I have brothers and sisters who are Democrats. They know perfectly well if they get into a debate with me, I'll crush them like grapes. Okay, all right. And it's like they're doubling down on as bad as they can get because they're freaked out about nothing. Because the president isn't there to tell them how to live their lives, nor is he going to throw gays into concentration camps. One of my good friends, Bruce Carroll, he started, he was the head of Log Cabin Republicans. And he loves mocking gays. He's gay for being, oh my God, Trump is such a homophobe. He's not. He don't give a shit. He don't give a shit. All right, just like the rest of us don't give a shit. All right. A lot of it, like in Northern Virginia, has to do with federal employees, like their paychecks. They're afraid their jobs are going to get cut. And then, of course, you got them worried about the public employee unions, which, because I do follow the Constitution, I think public employee unions are unconstitutional. There's one for you. Get rid of them. Postal Employees Union, all that shit. I don't think cops should be unionized. I don't mind a brotherhood of things so they can actually get issues they have sorted out with like a mayor or whatever. But absolutely unions going on strike when your job is public safety is bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. But then of course public school teachers shouldn't be unionized. I mean, look what the education unions have done to the education system. Look what the Department of Education has done. That was Jimmy Carter's baby. All right? When you talk to a millennial who doesn't know who Adolf Hitler was, or has no idea that Dwight Eisenhower is president, you have a problem with history. When they can't even count or write legibly, when their handwriting sucks because their teachers were so lazy and didn't want to teach them that because they wanted to teach them Black Lives Matters and how to put a rubber on a banana. We have a problem, but that came from the federal government, Department of Education, and the teachers' unions. So, how did we get this way? How did we get here? Well, I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'm gonna let you go. A long time ago, a lot of us, we went to movies, we wanted to be directors, writers, movie stars, whatever. And some of us were told brutally by our families, you can't do that, that's not practical, get a real job, blah, blah, blah. All the rest of that shit. And if you don't, if you're watching movies, you're taking part in culture, okay? And then these people who are complaining about it, or saying don't do it, complain about these movies are too political, they're selling a left-wing slant, we hate Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. Well, didn't you tell your kid that they shouldn't go into acting or the film industry because it wasn't practical, and you stuck your nose up at it? And you wonder where it came, you wonder why this happened? You wonder? There it is, right in front of your face. And then you stop taking part of the culture, then you need to shut up, okay? Because if you haven't gone to see a movie in decades and don't even watch them and watch old TV reruns, which is fine, you can do that. don't complain about today's film industry, which is dying, by the way. There are people here. I'm going to do a video, I think later tonight, and maybe either send it out tomorrow or send it out tonight, about some things I heard about Regal. And, you know, film industry is dying. Why? Because people like me stopped going to the theaters after we were told we weren't the audience anymore. When Hollywood decided they'd rather go for that Chinese cheddar instead of stand up for the people of Tibet. Oh, do you remember when they were all for the people of Tibet, who are now being thrown into concentration camps next to the Uyghurs? Hollywood doesn't say a word about that anymore. Hey, Abu, how you doing? Abu Nas in the house. Abu Nas in the house. I don't know if I did that right. Anyway, you know, so now they're going after this Chinese cheddar, and it is obvious, and they wonder why their U.S. They wonder why their U.S. box office receipts have gone down. Well, that's why. Okay. Oh, so I'm going. I just go. And that's why. And the box office has been dying for the last 15 years. COVID-19 has exacerbated what's been happening. And I've got friends in the film industry who've left Hollywood, who started their own studios elsewhere, who are watching it die and laughing about it. And it's like, you guys cheer. All right, you got Jane Fonda cheering for COVID, saying it was God's gift. COVID's killing the film industry. All right, actually, it's like giving a terminal cancer patient hemlock. That's what it is. But go on with that. Your cheers there, Hanoi Jane, bitch. So there you go. I mean, it's gonna be changed. It's gonna be different. We've got theater chains they're closing. They might not ever come back. We're going to see a new business model rise, because there is a place for the theaters. There is a place for premieres. There's a place to sit down at a theater with your lovely, buttery, salty popcorn and your big soda. Sit back and watch a movie. There are movies that are made that need to be seen in theaters, not on the small screen. The Empire Strikes Back. That was made for the big screen. Okay? But it's going to be different. Okay? It's going to look different. It's going to feel different. It's going to smell different. But there will be a new business model. And, they've changed the Oscars, so, they're going the racist way where, if you don't have 3 of these people and 3 of those types, then you won't be eligible for an Oscar, so why would anybody even care? You've got ABC basically going on the warpath for SJW diversity shit. There's diversity and then there's merit. You hire people on merit. Okay? If you put someone who's not ready for their position and they fail, that's on you. That is on you as a boss. And and it goes, but you could, but these leftists, these SJWs treat people of color like they're children. I've seen it myself. My oldest sister used to do that. We'd be somewhere and she'd start, talking to, black man or a black woman like they were 5. It's embarrassing. All right? You don't do that. You don't do that. But that attitude, like Cameron Pasha likes to bring up the white women in Hollywood who are now, they think they're controlling something. And I'll give you an example, and then I really do have to let you guys go because I really got to go and see my horse. The woman who's right, who Kennedy got to make a movie, that TV show that's never going to happen. What's her name? Shit. She's on that panel about women in Hollywood, and she looks at the black woman sitting next to her, going, "Tell me how I can be an ally to you." I'm like, I'd gone, "You need to shut up now." Leslie Headland, that's her name. I'm like, you don't talk to people like that. It is so condescending, so rude. It is so, I can't even, you don't do that. And there she is, and the other women are looking at her like, or wow, that wasn't weird. So anyway, I mean, but they're the ones that really start this shit. They're, and it's really weird. It's not that I don't even know if they think they're that guilty. I think they're trying to be popular. Because this woman worked for Harvey Weinstein and loved him, and now she hates him. It's like, you're right. I mean, Leslie Headland and Justina Ireland wrote something for the High Republic, and wow, go look her up. Go look her tweets up. In fact, go to Itchy Baca's Disney Star Wars is Dumb blog and see what he had to say, and all the stuff he found. She doesn't like people in Montana. I love Montana, all right, but she was very. Anyway, all right, you guys, I gotta go because Kay waits for nobody. All right, and we got stuff to do. I gotta change my shirt because this is clean, and she will get it dirty. So you guys have a good one. I'm probably gonna put out a video tonight about. You're welcome, about Regal. And anyway, Euler Greg, again, you and I need to talk about what's going on at Lucasfilm. Okay. If you're on Twitter, I am Clash1968 at Clash1968. Follow me if you're on Twitter, because you and I need to talk because it's been real quiet right now. All right. Anyway, I'll see you around the galaxy, guys. And no, she'll kick the crap out of the pup. So no. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Peace out.